to Say Less I Love You? Are you ready for some twisty fun? Let's meet our cast.
Hi, I'm Jacob Stone, CEO of Stone Hospital Group.
And I'm Nyla Thomas, the best nurse this hospital has ever seen.
Or so she'd like to think. I'm Lori, her best friend.
The name's Derek Radcliffe. I'm Jacob's incredibly handsome lawyer.
Hilda Stone, Jacob's mother.
Hey there, I'm Trixa, Jacob's first love.
Emphasis on first. Anyway, we're the cast of Say Less I Love You, Tyla Walker's brand new serial.
And now, let's start the show.
Chapter 30. Jacob. A knock interrupts my thoughts as I pore over the latest financial reports for Stone Hospital. I glance up, mildly annoyed. Linda peeks her head in. "Several people are here to see you," she says, her tone suggesting it's more of a command performance than a casual visit. "Let them in," I reply, curiosity piqued. To my surprise, my mother walks in first, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. Behind her trails an army of lawyers, each one looking grimmer than the last. "Mom," I say, bracing myself. "The storm is here, and it's wearing Louboutin." She wastes no time, diving right in. "Jacob, my dear, please say you have came to your senses." "Came to my senses?" I raise an eyebrow. "Oh, you mean my engagement?" "Yes, that exactly," she snaps. "Pardon my French, but this damn show has gone on long enough. It's becoming embarrassing." I lean back in my chair, arms crossed. "Oh, do tell me how I'm embarrassing the family this time." "That's irrelevant at the moment, if you don't retract this sham of an engagement," she says, her voice a dangerous whisper. "I will have no choice but to unseat you from the board." A laugh escapes me. "Unseat me? You mean a coup d'etat by designer handbag?" "Don't test me, boy. You don't know what I'm capable of," she warns. I stand firm, meeting my mother's steely gaze head on. I won't back down. Her expression hardens like concrete. Then I have no choice. She nods at her lawyer, a weaselly man who looks like he's permanently smelling something foul. He steps forward, extending a manila envelope towards me. "You're being served," he says almost gleefully. I snatch the envelope and tear it open. Challenging my position as chairman and CEO? Citing erratic behavior? This is rich, even for you, Mom. "You've left me no choice," she replies icily. "You're risking everything with these antics of yours." "My antics?" I scoff. "You mean me actually finding someone I care about?" "Care about?" she sneers. "You met her a few weeks ago. This isn't some fairy tale, Jacob. You're playing with fire." "And you're dousing everything in gasoline," I retort, slamming the papers down on my desk. She steps closer, her eyes narrowing. "Think about what you're doing. Is this woman worth losing everything we've built?" "Everything we've built?" I laugh bitterly. "Last I checked, I'm the one running this place while you play puppet master behind the scenes." "You always were dramatic," she says with a wave of her hand. "And you always were controlling," I fire back. "But this time, you've overplayed your hand." "Have I?" She tilts her head slightly. "The board doesn't think so." "Oh, the board." I roll my eyes. A bunch of old men who'd rather see me married off to Trixa than actually make any real changes around here. "Those old men hold your future in their hands," she snaps. "And if they think they can bully me into submission, they're sorely mistaken." My voice drops to a dangerous low. She straightens up, trying to regain her composure. "Jacob, be reasonable." "Reasonable? You want reasonable?" I take a step closer to her. "How about this? Stay out of my personal life and let me do my job." She flinches slightly but recovers quickly. "You think this is just about your personal life? This is about the future of Stone Hospital." "And that future includes Nyla," I state firmly. The tension in the room tightens like a noose. Mom's eyes bore into mine, the air between us thick with unspoken history and resentment. "You always think you know best," I say, voice low and controlled. But this time, you're dead wrong. Am I? Her tone is as sharp as a scalpel. I've spent my life protecting this family's legacy. You're throwing it away for a woman you barely know. I know enough, I snap. Enough to realize she's not like the gold diggers you've paraded in front of me. Her nostrils flare. This isn't about gold diggers. It's about control! I cut her off, stepping closer. You can't stand that I'm making my own decisions. Your decisions are reckless, she counters, voice rising. You're acting like a petulant child. A child? I scoff. Look who's talking, running to the board because things aren't going your way. She squares her shoulders, eyes narrowing to slits. I'm trying to save you from yourself. I laugh, bitterly. No, you're trying to save your version of me, the perfect son who does exactly what Mommy wants. That's not fair, she hisses. Life isn't fair, I retort, and neither is love. She shakes her head, exasperated. You're blinded by infatuation. And you're blinded by your need to control everything, I say, leaning in so we're almost nose to nose. But here's the thing. I'm done being your puppet. Her lips press into a thin line. This isn't over, Jacob. Oh, I'm sure it isn't, I reply coolly. She straightens up, looking every bit the matriarch she believes herself to be. I'll see you in front of the board, she declares, her words dripping with finality. Can't wait, I shoot back. With that, she turns on her heel and strides out of my office, her entourage trailing behind her like obedient shadows. I stand there for a moment, heart pounding, mind racing. The battle lines are drawn, and the war for control over my life has just begun. But one thing is clear. I'm not backing down. Not now, not ever.
Chapter 31. Nyla. As I step into my new apartment, a sudden sense of loneliness overtakes me. Now there will be no morning banter to share with anyone. My clothes won't smell like his cologne. My heart still longs for the penthouse, but my head can't get past the deceit. The last few days have been hell. Scouring around like crazy, trying to find an inhabitable apartment that doesn't cost an arm or a leg. But luckily, I was able to find something that I can afford, at least at the time being. The last few boxes thud onto the floor, and I can finally breathe. It's not much, but it's mine. Girl, this place has character, Zara says, dropping onto the couch and propping her feet up. And by character, I mean it's small and old. Lori snickers as she adjusts a crooked picture frame on the wall. Zara, you've got no tact. Nyla, I love it. It's cozy. Cozy is code for tiny, Zara retorts, grinning. Hey, at least it has a nice air conditioner, I reply, brushing a stray lock of hair out of my face. Oh, and it's got a fire escape with a view of more fire escapes. Besides, I really wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. Okay, that's my cue, y'all, Lori says. I'm gonna help Mama Thomas in the kitchen. You two need to talk. Lori leaves and Zara looks at me. I look at her. Look, Zara begins, but I cut her off. No, you look, I say to her. I don't know what your game is. Nyla girl, I'm telling you I got no game, okay? Zara says. I've been stripping since nursing school. It's what got me through the bills. And when I saw the call that they were looking for a dancer, and I saw Jacob's name on the event list, I thought, yes? I ask. I don't know, she says. I thought I needed to catch that gig. So you could steal my man? I ask. No, Nyla. I don't want to steal your man, she says. I just want a man of my own that's not all up trying to sniff your ass. I just want something that's mine that you don't take away. I never took anyone away, I say, a bit shocked. No, you didn't, she agrees, because you didn't have to try. They're always lined up for you. Well, I ponder. That's no excuse. No, Zara agrees. It's not. And I'm sorry, okay? I just thought everything good happens to you. I want a piece for me too. Everything good happens to me? I ask, incredulous. Zara, I'm living in a box after leaving my fiance's apartment. My grandpa is in the hospital, and I have $7 in my bank account. If this is good, then I don't know what bad is. Zara laughs a mirthless laugh. That's pretty bad, she agrees. Hey, you guys, I hear my mom say as she pokes her head in. My mom and dad are busy unpacking the kitchen. Mom holds up a chipped mug with a smile. Remember this? You made it in 3rd grade. Wow, didn't think you kept that, I say, feeling a small twinge of nostalgia. Dad chuckles as he stacks plates in the cupboard. We keep everything that matters. That's all of it, Lori exclaims, coming back into the room, clapping her hands together as if to dust off the remnants of our moving adventure. Great. Let's head to the store and grab some sodas. Your girl is parched, Zara suggests. We'll be back soon. Okay, don't forget my favorite, I remind her, flashing a grateful smile. You mean the one with way too much sugar? Got it, Lori quips, rolling her eyes with a smirk. Dad walks over, wiping his hands on his jeans. I'm going to take the truck back to avoid any extra fees. We rented it by the hour. Good call, Dad. Thanks for helping out today, I say, giving him a quick hug. No problem, kiddo. He ruffles my hair affectionately before heading out. Mom glances around the room, taking in the scattered boxes and half-assembled furniture. I'll stay and help you set up. Thanks, Mom. Let's start with the kitchen, I suggest. We begin unpacking the kitchen items together, working in a comfortable rhythm. Mom hands me a stack of plates, her eyes wandering around the apartment. This place is a bit farther from work, but it seems like what you were looking for. I nod, carefully placing the plates in the cupboard. Yeah, it's not bad. A little longer commute isn't the worst thing in the world. She smiles, trying to lighten the mood. Did you move out just until you got married? I laugh, but it sounds forced even to my ears. Yeah, I suppose so. As I hand Mom a stack of bowls, I finally ask the question that's been gnawing at me. Do you know anything about the Stones? She freezes for a second before resuming her task, her movements a bit too deliberate. Why do you ask? I lean against the counter, watching her closely. Because you seemed awfully familiar with Jacob's Uncle Gregory at that charity event. It was nothing, she says, but there's an edge to her voice. It didn't look like nothing, I counter, feeling the tension rise. It seems like you guys know each other. I think I overheard you whispering something about telling me, what is it? Mom sighs and places a bowl on the shelf with exaggerated care. You must have misheard. Mom, come on, I press, crossing my arms. I'm not a kid anymore. If there's something I need to know, just tell me. She hesitates, then says, You know what? It's best if you drop it for now. I feel a surge of frustration. No, I'm marrying into this family and I deserve to know. Mom finally relents, her expression serious. Gregory mentioned how beautiful you were, that he could see where you got your looks from, and then he made a pass at me when your dad went to get drinks. I pause, sensing that Mom is holding back. She's never lied to me before, but something feels off. Her hesitation, the way she avoids eye contact, it's all too suspicious. I decide not to push further, at least not now. Okay, thank you, I reply, trying to sound casual. The unease sits heavy in my chest as we return to unpacking the kitchen. Pass me those glasses, will you? Mom asks, reaching out. Sure thing, I say, handing her the stack. We work in silence for a bit, the clinking of dishes and rustling of bubble wrap filling the air. I glance over at her occasionally, hoping she'll offer more information on her own. But she's focused on organizing, meticulously placing each item as if it holds some profound importance. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of my mom's lie settle in my chest. She's never lied to me before, at least not that I know of, and now it feels like there's a crack in the foundation of our relationship. But I need to keep my cool. Prying won't help right now. All right, Mom, let's get this kitchen done, I say, forcing a smile. These boxes aren't going to unpack themselves. She nods, her expression softening. You're right. We've got work to do.
You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy.
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
And you might got the money.
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. And everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you?
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 32. Jacob. I'm sitting in the parking lot of Nyla's new apartment. The building is modest, but it's got character. Something she has in spades. I've spent the better part of the week holed up in my office, avoiding everyone. There's no one I want to see, or even engage with for that matter, besides Nyla. The penthouse doesn't feel like home anymore. It just feels vacant and lonely, lacking the luster it had when she was there. I hate how things turned out, and what I hate the absolute most is I know that someone is behind all this nonsense. I wouldn't be surprised if it was my dear mother. It's no secret that everyone has been trying to sabotage this relationship since it began. Yet I'm the one who was coward enough to let it happen. They think they won, and that's what pisses me off more than anything. I refuse to lose, especially when the stakes are this high. I don't want to lose Nyla. I step out of the car, holding a bottle of wine that costs more than some people's monthly rent. Nyla's new apartment is modest, but it's got character. Something she has in spades. I walk up to her door and knock. She opens it, looking surprised to see me. Jacob? Standing in the doorway in threadbare shorts and an old shirt, she looks nothing short of beautiful. Hey, I say, lifting the bottle. Housewarming gift for your move. She takes it, eyeing the label. Fancy. Well, I wanted to see where you live. I glance around the hallway before stepping inside, and I'm going to have some of my security team check the place out. Nyla raises an eyebrow. That's not necessary. I shake my head. It is. You're still my fiance, so it's for your safety, and mine. It's probably a good idea, considering everything. She sighs, her shoulders sagging like she's carrying the weight of the world. I notice her distress and step closer, trying to catch her eye. What's wrong? I ask, my voice softening despite myself. Nyla hesitates before speaking. Mom and I were talking while she was here helping me unpack, and while she's never lied to me in my life, I can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something. It has to do with us. My brow furrows. What do you mean? I think there's something going on between our families. My mom knows what it is, but she's not telling me. I look puzzled. I haven't ever heard of anything with your family. I don't understand. Nyla sighs, setting the wine bottle on her small kitchen counter. Neither do I, but something's off. I lean against the counter, arms crossed. Why do you think that? Nyla shakes her head, frustration etched on her face. I don't even know. The people I've trusted forever suddenly feel untrustworthy. I can't rely on them anymore. I nod, feeling a pang of empathy. I know how you feel. The people I've always considered my support system seem to have turned their backs on me. I don't think they're the same anymore. She looks up at me, eyes softening just a bit. What happened? Well, I begin, pushing off the counter and pacing a little. My mom basically threatened to unseat me from the board if I don't call off our wedding. She brought in an army of lawyers to drive the point home. Nyla's eyes widen. Wow, that's intense. Yeah, intense is one word for it. I stop pacing and look at her. But I'm not backing down. Why not? She asks, genuine curiosity in her voice. Because, I say, stepping closer to her, lowering my voice. I don't want to give them the satisfaction of thinking they can control me. And because I made a promise to you and your grandfather. In that moment, our shared pain brings us closer than I ever imagined possible. I look into Nyla's eyes, seeing the vulnerability and strength there, and something inside me snaps. Without thinking, I lean in, my lips meeting hers in a tender kiss. Her lips are soft and inviting, a perfect contrast to the chaos around us. The kiss deepens naturally, as if we've both been waiting for this. My hands move on their own accord, trailing down her back and pulling her closer. Jacob, she whispers against my lips, her breath warm and intoxicating. Shh, I murmur back, not wanting to break the spell. I slide my hands under her shirt, feeling the smooth skin beneath. She shivers at my touch, and it only fuels my desire. Before long, I'm tugging at her clothes with a sense of urgency that's both surprising and undeniable. She doesn't resist. Instead, she helps me, lifting her arm so I can pull off her shirt. My hands roam over her bare skin, and I feel the spark of electricity between us. We shouldn't, she breathes out, but there's no conviction in her voice. We should, I counter, capturing her mouth again in a fierce kiss that leaves no room for doubt. Her hands find their way to my shirt, unbuttoning it with a speed that tells me she's just as eager as I am. When it's off, she runs her fingers over my chest, making me groan with need. Nyla takes my hand, leading me toward her bedroom. The touch of her skin sends jolts of electricity through my body. As we step into her room, the dim light casts shadows on the walls, creating an intimate atmosphere. I lose myself in the taste of her lips, the softness of her skin under my fingertips. I can't remember the last time I felt this alive, this connected to someone. It's like she's become my lifeline in this chaotic world. She pulls away slightly, catching her breath. Jacob. Nyla, I reply, my voice husky with desire. This is crazy, she says, but there's no conviction in her words. I don't care, I say, pressing a kiss to her neck. She shivers under my touch, and I know she feels it too. The undeniable chemistry between us. I know this might complicate things, but damn it, I've missed her. Nyla's lips on mine, her body pressed against me. There's no turning back now. I need her.
Chapter 33. Nyla. Looks like the level of passion in this chapter is pushing YouTube's limit.
It's disappointing, I know. Trust me when I say we want nothing more than to get down to the dirty details.
But releasing these free audiobooks on YouTube means that we have to abide by the rules.
Even though YouTube won't allow us to put something so spicy on the air, you can still find it on TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an unbelievable collection of uncut, unabridged audiobooks and ebooks.
For access to the full, unfiltered scene, go to TylaWalker.com and use code SAVE40 for 40% off any digital product.
This is the deal of a lifetime, a discount that can be applied to bundles that are already listed at a discounted price.
You heard that right. It's time for you to treat yourself.
With Miss Tyla.
Chapter 34. Jacob. As I lie beside her, staring at the ceiling, her scent still lingering on my skin. This woman, she's everything I didn't know I needed. Our connection goes beyond the physical. There's something real here, something that makes me want to protect her from the nonsense swirling around us. I turn my head to look at her, her body nestled against mine. She's so damn beautiful, and for the first time in my life, I'm genuinely excited about a future with someone. Not just any someone. Her. "Hey," I murmur, brushing a strand of hair from her face. She looks up at me with those eyes that could melt the hardest heart. "Yeah?" "I forgot to mention," I say. "The Stone Hospital Gala is coming up. It's at the Met this year." Her eyes widen with a mix of excitement and panic. "Oh damn, I don't have anything to wear. I used up everything at your parents' last event for the hospital." Without hesitation, I reach beside the bed, grabbing my wallet from my slacks. I pull out my American Express black card. "Go crazy. Buy whatever you need to look amazing for the gala." Nyla's eyes widen as she takes the card, a playful grin spreading across her face. "I guess I can do that, big boy." I chuckle, shaking my head. "Just don't bankrupt me, all right?" She rolls her eyes, but there's a glint of excitement there. "Please, like you'd even notice." We share a lighthearted moment, laughing together. She's so damn infectious when she's happy. As we lie together, I can't help but notice the way Nyla's eyes sparkle when she speaks. She's always had this fire in her, but tonight, it feels different. More intense. More real. "You know, I think our relationship might have actually gotten stronger since I moved out," she says as she runs her fingers across my chest. "What's that one cheesy line people always say? Absence makes the heart grow fonder," I say with a smirk. She rolls her eyes but then graces me with her beautiful smile. "Maybe it's what we needed," she says softly, her fingers tracing patterns on the blanket between us. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. I swallow hard, trying to keep my cool. "You really think so?" She nods, a small smile playing on her lips. "Yeah, I do. I mean, look at us now. It's almost like nothing ever happened." I lean back, letting her words sink in. She's right. We were doing fine before the pictures, and yeah, it's only been a few days, but without Nyla, it feels like forever. Still, I'm glad we're actually connecting. And it scares the hell out of me because I realize I'm falling for her. Hard.
And that's where we're going to put a pause on pleasure.
Looks like the rest of this chapter is just too naughty to put on the air.
As much as we'd love to share every little detail, we've got to stick to YouTube's guidelines to keep these free audiobooks coming.
They've got some rules about what we can show, and we wouldn't want to risk losing the chance to bring you more content.
As frustrating as it is to build the tension only to be interrupted, Miss Tyla always knows how to make it up to you.
You can find the full, uncut scene over at tylawalker.com.
With an entire library of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks, Miss Tyla's collection is waiting for you.
If you use code SAVE40, you'll get 40% off any digital product, even on bundles that are already discounted.
So don't let the fun stop here. Head over to tylawalker.com and treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 35. Nyla. Bloomingdale's is buzzing with activity, a haven of elegance and luxury that feels both foreign and thrilling. Lori and Zara flit around me like two determined bees, each with their own agenda. I keep one eye on the dresses and the other on Zara. Trusting her is like trusting a fox in a henhouse. "Look at this one," Lori exclaims, holding up a sleek, garnet-colored gown. "This color would look amazing on you." Yeah, if she wants to look like she's attending a high school prom, Zara snorts. She pulls out a slinky black number that leaves little to the imagination. Now this is how you make an entrance. I chuckle, shaking my head. I'm not sure I want to make that kind of entrance. Oh, come on, Zara says, her tone dripping with faux innocence. You want Jacob's eyes glued to you all night, right? This will do the trick. Lori nods enthusiastically. She's right, Nyla. You need something that screams, I belong here. And also, I'm sexy as hell. I sigh, knowing they have a point, but also feeling a little out of my depth. Okay, let's see how it looks on me. We head to the fitting rooms, Zara prattling on about her latest exploits while Lori offers moral support. Once inside the tiny cubicle, I slip into the black dress. The fabric clings to my curves in all the right places, transforming me into someone who might just belong in Jacob's world. Lori gasps when I step out. Damn, girl. If Jacob doesn't fall in love with you all over again tonight, he's got no pulse. My thoughts immediately drift back to last night, the way he felt inside me, the way he worshipped me like no man ever has before. Zara smirks, clearly pleased with her selection. See, told ya. You even stunned your own self into silence. I can't help but smile at their reactions. Shut up, you win this round. As we move through the store, picking up accessories to match the dress, heels that make me feel 10 feet tall, and jewelry that sparkles like stardust, Lori grabs my arm. You know what else you need? She asks with a mischievous glint in her eye. What? Scandalous lingerie, she says matter-of-factly. I roll my eyes but can't suppress a grin. Of course you'd say that. Zara nods in agreement for once. Yeah, imagine Jacob's face when he sees you in something unexpected. I bite my lip, considering it for a moment before giving in. Fine, but nothing too over the top. We head over to the lingerie section, where Lori immediately starts pulling out lacy numbers in various shades of seduction. This one, she says, holding up a deep red set that's more straps than fabric. Oh, God, I laugh. Jacob might have a heart attack. Better him than your grandpa, Zara quips. I shake my head. Caught off guard by her callous comment, but take the set from Lori's hands anyway. We head to the checkout counter, and I pull out Jacob's black American Express card and hold it up like a trophy. He really gave you his credit card? Zara asks, her eyebrows shooting up. Yep, I say, swiping it through the reader. Guess he trusts me more than he trusts himself. The total flashes on the screen, and I wince slightly. It's a whopping price, but I guess that's the cost of looking like $1 million. Damn, Lori says, peeking at the amount. That's some serious cash. Yeah, I say, handing the card back to the cashier. But worth every penny if it means shutting Hilda up for one night. Zara snickers. Good luck with that. That woman has a PhD in condescension. We gather our bags and head out of the store, the weight of luxury hanging from our arms. So where to next? I ask. I'm starving, Lori says. I hear Emporio Armani has a killer lunch bar. Sounds perfect, I reply. Emporio Armani's sleek and modern interior almost makes me forget the chaos of the outside world. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and the subtle hum of conversation blend into a comforting background as we make our way to the lunch counter. Nyla, a familiar voice calls out. I turn to see Julia Jacob's sister, perched on the bar stool, a drink in hand. She waves me over with an inviting smile. Well, if it isn't my future sister-in-law, Julia says as I approach. Hey, Julia, what brings you here? I ask, genuinely curious. Oh, avoiding home. She replies with a wink. I motion for Lori and Zara to grab a table fairly close to Julia while I join her at the bar. Sliding onto the stool next to her, I notice she's nursing what looks like an old-fashioned. So, how's everything going? She asks, her tone friendly but with a hint of something more serious lurking beneath. Busy as always, I say. Just trying to get everything ready for the gala. Julia nods, taking a sip of her drink. I can imagine. My mom's been driving everyone crazy about it. I bet, I say, chuckling. She's quite particular. That's one way to put it, Julia agrees, rolling her eyes dramatically. We share a laugh before she leans in closer, lowering her voice. I just want to warn you, my lunch guests are on their way for our little monthly get-together to keep up appearances, she says with an eye roll, glancing toward the entrance. I glance at Julia, curiosity piqued. Who are you meeting here? I ask, trying to sound casual. Take a wild guess, she replies, but there's a hint of hesitation in her voice. Before I can probe further, I spot Trixie strutting in with her entourage. They're all decked out in designer clothes, dripping with an air of entitlement. Trixie's smirk widens when she sees me. Great. Well, Trixie says, her voice dripping with condescension. Look who decided to step up from the $6 menu at McDonald's. Lori stiffens beside me, and I'm sure the sound of the chair screeching across the floor is probably Zara ready to spring into action. But I keep my cool. Nice to see you too, Trixie, I say evenly. Trixie's friends giggle behind her like a pack of hyenas. She saunters over to the bar and eyes me up and down. I didn't realize this place was offering charity meals now. Really? I reply smoothly. How else would you get in? Julia stifles a laugh, and Trixie's smirk falters for a split second before she recovers. You're funny, she says, though her tone suggests otherwise. But really, can you even afford a meal here? Or did Jacob give you an allowance for the day? Actually, I say, leaning back in my chair with a confident smile. I'm using his card because he insisted on spoiling me today, but thanks for your concern. Lori shoots me a supportive glance while Zara rolls her eyes at Trixie's antics. Zara and I may have our ups and downs, but I know without a doubt she would be the first one to ask me to hold her earrings if it came down to it. Maybe he felt guilty about something, Trixie says, leaning in as if sharing a secret. Men like Jacob always do. Trixie's smirk is like nails on a chalkboard. I feel the sting of her words, but I won't let her see it. Taking a deep breath, I square my shoulders and face her head on. You know what, Trixie? I say, my voice steady. I don't appreciate your condescending attitude. Her eyebrows arch in mock surprise. Oh, I'm sorry. Just pointing out the obvious. The only thing obvious here, I continue, is that you have a problem with my background. If my presence offends you so much, maybe you should leave. Julia interjects before Trixie can respond. Trixie, that's enough, she says firmly. Nyla's part of my family now, whether you like it or not. You need to tone it down. Trixie looks taken aback by Julia's defense of me. Oh, please, Julia, she sneers. You're just saying that because Jacob told you to play nice. Julia stands up from her stool, facing Trixie with an intensity that makes even me flinch. No, I'm saying it because it's the right thing to do, she retorts. You've been insufferable ever since you screwed my brother over. That's on you, not Nyla. The tension between them is palpable, and for a moment, it feels like the whole restaurant has gone silent, watching the showdown unfold. I decide to chime in one last time. Look, Trixie, I say calmly. You don't have to like me, but you might want to get used to seeing me around, because I'm not going anywhere. I take a deep breath. feeling the tension dissolve into a pool of triumph. I look at Julia and offer her a warm smile. It was good to see you, Julia. I'll see you next week. Absolutely, she says, giving me a reassuring nod. Turning to Lori and Zara, I signal it's time to leave. Ladies, let's get out of here before we lose our appetite. Zara snickers, glancing at Trixa. Good idea. Something here is starting to smell, and I doubt it's the mahi-mahi. I can see Trixa's expression drop as she processes our departure. Perfect. Time to twist the knife. Oh, I suppose I'll have the pleasure of seeing you too, I say casually, turning back to Trixa with a smile that could cut glass. Seeing as I'm attending the gala at the Met next week, I'm really looking forward to it. Her face contorts into a mix of surprise and irritation. You're going to the gala? Of course, I reply, enjoying every second of her discomfort. What kind of fiance would I be if I didn't go support my man? Julia can't hide her grin as she watches Trixa's reaction. It's going to be quite the event, she adds, twisting the knife a bit more. Well, I say, straightening up and gathering my bags. We should head out. Busy day ahead and all that? Lori gives me an approving nod, while Zara shoots one last look of disdain at Trixa before we all head toward the exit. As we walk away, I feel an empowering sense of victory wash over me. For once, I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. This is my moment. Outside, the city bustles with life, but for once, I don't feel overwhelmed by it. Lori and Zara are already talking about where we should go next, but my mind is on Jacob and how proud he'll be when he hears about this little victory. So, Zara says with a wicked grin as we walk down the sidewalk. What's next? More shopping? Drinks? A spa day? I think, I say thoughtfully, feeling lighter than I have in days. We deserve a celebration. Now you're talking, Lori exclaims. As we hail a cab and climb inside, my thoughts drift back to Trixa's stunned face. Sometimes winning isn't about grand gestures. It's about those small victories that remind you exactly who you are and what you're capable of. I lean back in my seat and smile to myself as the cab pulls away from the curb. One battle down, many more to go. But today, victory is mine.
Your grandfather doesn't have long to live. His condition has worsened and the only treatment is...
Something I can't afford.
Did you see this? Jacob Stone, billionaire playboy, scores again.
2 jobs and I still can't afford the medicine to get my granddaddy healthy.
Morning, Nyla. Ready for another day in paradise?
Jacob, your latest escapade with that actress. What was her name?
This isn't who you are. It's time to settle down. Show the board that you can offer stability. Show them who you really are.
I'll show them. I'll show them all. I may be a billionaire, but it's not like I can just go out and buy a bride, right?
Can I help you?
Yeah, I think maybe you can. Maybe we can help each other.
Grandpa, I'm in too deep. What am I gonna do?
Chapter 36. Jacob. I'm sitting at the bar at the gala, nursing a whiskey sour, waiting on Nyla to arrive since she insisted on getting herself here. She said she wanted what she picked out on her shopping trip today to be a surprise. I'm flattered by the thought, but the only thing I'll be thinking about when she arrives is how soon I can get her out of here so I can take it off. Derek sits beside me, swirling his bourbon, his eyes narrowed at the tablet screen. Jacob, you'll never believe this, but I figured it out. The current Neuromax formulation doesn't match what we signed off on. I set down my scotch, brow furrowing. What do you mean? We approved that drug ourselves. Everything should align perfectly. Derek hands me the tablet. Take a look. I glance over the data, feeling a tight knot form in my stomach. How the hell could this happen? We vetted this from every angle. That's the million-dollar question, Derek says, leaning back on his stool. Damn, I mutter under my breath, rubbing my temple. Who else knows about this? Just you and me for now, he replies. But we can't keep it under wraps for long. We need to get to the bottom of this, I say, voice firm. This has to be the reason that Cornelius isn't making the advancements he should be. Derek shrugs, unsure. I don't know what happened. I'll dig deeper to find out what's going on, but it seems like somewhere along the line something has gone wrong. This could be a bigger problem than just a chemical profile discrepancy. If we're administering a drug to patients that isn't what we claim, the potential liability is immense. We might face serious repercussions for false advertising and damages that we can't fully comprehend right now. I shift on the bar stool, the weight of his words settling in. So what you're telling me is we could be sitting on a ticking time bomb? Exactly, he says, running a hand through his hair. If the press gets wind of this... They won't, I interrupt, my voice cold. Not if I can help it. Derek sighs. Jacob, this isn't just about keeping it under wraps. We need to fix this. The gravity of the situation hits me like a freight train. Neuromax could be our Titanic, and I'm not keen on playing the role of the iceberg. If patients are getting a bastardized version of the drug, the fallout could be apocalyptic. I feel the weight of potential lawsuits, shattered reputations, and lives at risk pressing down on my shoulders. We need a game plan, I say. The leather soles of my shoes tap out a nervous rhythm on the stool. Already working on it, he replies, eyes glued to his tablet. Working on it isn't enough. We need answers now. My voice is sharp, cutting through the tension in the room. In fact, we need them yesterday. He looks up, meeting my gaze. I get it, Jacob. But this isn't something we can rush. Patients' lives are at stake here, not to mention the entire company. I snap back. He sighs, pinching the bridge of his nose. Look, I'm pulling all the data I can find on every batch of Neuromax we've distributed. We'll cross-reference it with patient reports and see where things diverge. I stop pacing and lean against my desk, running a hand through my hair. What about Patel? Has he noticed anything off with the patients? Derek shakes his head. Not that he's mentioned, but given how closely he's been monitoring them, he should have picked up on any irregularities. Should have doesn't cut it, I mutter. My mind races through worst-case scenarios. Class action lawsuits, media frenzy, board mutiny. You need to stay calm, Derek advises. Panicking won't solve anything. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to focus. You're right. We need to be methodical about this. Exactly, he agrees. First step, confirm if the formulation issue is isolated or widespread. And then, I ask, we isolate and recall any affected batches, Derek says confidently. That's not going to be cheap, I point out. Neither are wrongful death suits, he retorts dryly. I nod grimly. Do whatever you have to do to get those answers. Derek rises from his seat, determination etched on his face. I'll keep you posted. Just as I'm mired in thoughts about the Neuromax fiasco, the atmosphere in the gala shifts. Whispers ripple through the crowd, drawing my attention to the entrance. Nyla walks in, and for a moment, everything else fades. She's a vision, graceful, poised, and utterly captivating. Jesus, I mutter under my breath. I've never seen anyone quite like her. Heads turn, conversations hush, and the air feels charged with her presence. Nyla's eyes scan the room, finally landing on me. I stand up, feeling an odd mix of pride and anxiety. Well, if it isn't the woman of the hour, Derek quips beside me. You're a lucky bastard. Tell me something I don't know, I reply, eyes never leaving Nyla. She approaches with a confidence that sends my heart racing. As she gets closer, I can see she's wearing a stunning black dress that hugs her curves perfectly. It's like she was born to wear it, or maybe just to drive me crazy. Sweetheart, she says, her voice smooth but with an edge of curiosity. You look deep in thought. I was, I admit. But you've got a way of making everything else seem less important. She arches an eyebrow. Is that so? What's on your mind? Work stuff, I say vaguely, not wanting to ruin the moment with business woes. Nothing that can't wait. Nyla's eyes flicker with something. Concern, maybe? But she smiles, and it's like a jolt of electricity through my system. Well, I'm here now, so let's make this evening worthwhile. You read my mind, I say, offering my arm. As we walk through the crowd together, I can feel eyes on us, judgmental stares from some, envious looks from others, but none of it matters when she's beside me. So what's the plan for tonight? She asks as we approach the main ballroom. Smile for the cameras, I say with a grin, and maybe make a few jaws drop. Nyla laughs softly, her eyes shimmering in the light of the ballroom. Oh, and let's not forget, let's try our absolute best not to give my mother a coronary. She snorts, and it's the cutest thing I've ever heard. I think we can manage that.
Chapter 37. Nyla. The room is a sea of elegant gowns and tailored suits, each face more familiar with this world than I am. My designer dress fits perfectly, but it feels like an elaborate costume. I remind myself to breathe. Ready? Jacob's voice is warm, reassuring. As I'll ever be, I reply, attempting a confident smile. We begin to mingle, Jacob introducing me to a whirlwind of people. Their names and titles blur together. I'm greeted with polite smiles and curious glances, but my nerves remain on edge. This is Nyla Thomas, Jacob says, presenting me to yet another couple. She's a nurse at Stone Hospital and my fiance. The woman's eyes flicker over me, assessing. A pleasure to meet you, she says, her tone neutral. Likewise, I manage, though inside I feel like an imposter. As we move on, Jacob leans in close. You're doing great. Am I? I murmur back. I feel like they're all waiting for me to slip up. He squeezes my hand. They're just curious. You're not slipping up. We stop by a small group gathered around the hors d'oeuvres table. One man with a distinguished gray beard extends his hand. Jacob, good to see you, he booms before turning to me. And who is this lovely lady? Nyla Thomas, Jacob says smoothly. My fiance. Ah, wonderful, the man exclaims. What do you do, Nyla? I'm a nurse, I reply. A noble profession, he says approvingly. Takes a lot of dedication. Thank you, I say, feeling a bit more at ease. See? Jacob murmurs as we move on. You're winning them over on your own. I guess I am, I say, a smile tugging at my lips. Maybe I'm not such an oddity after all. Never were, he replies, his gaze warm and proud. A slow song starts to play and Jacob takes my hand. Dance with me. I hesitate for a second, then nod. Why not? He leads me onto the dance floor, pulling me close. The world narrows down to just the two of us as we sway to the music. His hands are firm on my waist, and I rest my head against his chest. Everyone's watching us, I murmur, glancing around the room. Does that bother you? He asks softly. I take a deep breath, absorbing the moment. No, not anymore. He chuckles. Good, because you look stunning tonight. I lift my head to meet his eyes. You don't look so bad yourself. He grins, that boyish charm making my heart skip a beat. Careful, Miss Thomas. Compliments like that might go to my head. I laugh softly. I'll risk it. We continue to dance, wrapped up in our little bubble amidst the grandeur of the gala. The tension from earlier dissipates entirely as I realize how comfortable and safe I feel in Jacob's arms. As the music fades, Jacob and I make our way to the bar. My hand slips from his, but he keeps his arm around my waist, guiding me through the crowd. We find a spot at the end of the bar, away from the throng of guests. I have to admit, I say, glancing up at him, I feel pretty good about tonight. He signals the bartender for 2 glasses of champagne. I told you you'd be fine. I take a sip, savoring the bubbles dancing on my tongue. Yeah, but I didn't think I'd actually believe it. Jacob reaches out and tucks a loose curl behind my ear. You were born to handle this kind of pressure. Careful, Mr. Stone, I say as I lean into his hand. You might just sweep a girl off her feet. His eyes twinkle with something I can't name. Maybe that's the plan. We clink our glasses together in a silent toast, and for a moment everything feels perfect. But then I catch sight of something, or rather, someone, across the room. Hilda. She's watching us intently, her expression unreadable but her gaze sharp as a scalpel. The air around us shifts, becoming heavy with tension. Looks like we've got company, I murmur. Jacob turns, following my line of sight. Before I know what's happening, his strong hands cradle my face and he kisses me. Time stands still in that moment. I can't help the small sigh I elicit when he pulls away. Relax, he says, his voice low and reassuring. I've got your back.
You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyla Walker Romances in the Big AF audio bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyla can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit TylaWalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner. Because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylaWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyla.
Chapter 38. Jacob. What was that for? Nyla asks, her voice breathy, her finger tracing her lips. I place a hand on her hip, feeling the tension in her muscles. I want to make sure that everyone is aware of my engagement to you, that try as they may, nothing will stop me from being with you. She sighs, looking down at the champagne flute in her hand. Except your mother, maybe, she says as she looks over her shoulder in Mother's direction. Don't worry about her, she's like a dog, she can smell fear, I say, trying to ease her concern. Nyla raises an eyebrow, clearly skeptical. Easy for you to say. You've probably never been bitten by her. I chuckle, shaking my head. Oh, trust me, I have. She gave me hell when I took over the hospital group. You're not alone in this. She takes a sip of champagne, still unconvinced. So what am I supposed to do? Just wait until she decides I'm good enough? No, I say firmly. You don't wait for her approval. You show her that you're strong and that you belong here with me. And how exactly do I do that? She asks, a hint of frustration in her voice. You keep being yourself, I reply. Julia suddenly appears, looking oddly apologetic. Hey, I just want to apologize about the other day, she says, glancing at Nyla. What happened? I ask, sensing there's more to the story. Nyla quickly interjects. Just a small misunderstanding. Girl stuff, nothing to worry about. I nod, catching her drift. All right, I say, sensing the growing camaraderie between them. How about I grab us another round? Champagne? Nyla nods, giving me a grateful smile. That'd be great, thanks. Julia winks at me. Make mine a double big brother. I chuckle and head towards the bar, kissing her hand as I leave them to navigate their newfound sisterly bond. As I walk away, I hear Nyla's voice. So, Julia, what's the most embarrassing thing Jacob's ever done? Oh, where do I start? Julia laughs. There was this one time he got caught in the elevator doing... Hey, I call over my shoulder. No spilling secrets! Their laughter follows me as I reach the bar and order 3 glasses of champagne. The bartender raises an eyebrow but doesn't comment. He's seen crazier things tonight. As I wait for the drinks, I can't help but glance back at them. Nyla's face is animated as she talks, and Julia is listening intently, occasionally throwing her head back in laughter. It's a sight that makes my chest tighten with something that feels suspiciously like hope. I'm adjusting my jacket when I catch a glimpse of Trixie sauntering towards me, looking like she's headed to a shift at the strip club, might I add, and not a socialite attending an esteemed gala. Great. Just what I need. Jacob, she purrs, sidling up next to me. Trixie, I reply curtly. She glances over at Nyla and Julia, her lips curling into a smirk. Looks like Nyla's doing just fine without you. I clench my jaw, refusing to take the bait. She's stronger than you give her credit for. Trixie chuckles softly, twirling a strand of hair around her finger. Oh, I know she is. A real survivor, that one. Knows how to handle herself in any situation. Well, she wouldn't have to if certain people didn't make things harder for her, I snap back. Her eyes narrow slightly. You think I'm making things hard for her? That's exactly what I'm saying, I retort, locking eyes with her. She laughs again, but it's hollow. Oh, please, Jacob. You're the one parading her around like some prize. She's not a prize, I say firmly. She's my fiance. Trixie's eyes flash with something. Jealousy? Annoyance? Doesn't matter. Funny how quickly you moved on, she remarks. I shrug nonchalantly. Funny how you're still hung up on it. Trixie shifts her stance, adopting a more nostalgic tone. Remember our trip to Santorini? Those sunsets were magical. You and me just living in the moment. I take a deep breath, trying to keep my irritation in check. Yeah, well, maybe you should try living in the moment now, because I'm tired of listening to you being stuck in the past. She leans in closer, her perfume assaulting my senses. Oh, Jacob, we both know you still want me. You can't just erase our history. You're boring me, I retort, taking a step back to reclaim some personal space. Trixie's eyes narrow slightly. You're stubborn, but I've always liked that about you. Just know I won't stop until I get what I want. I grit my teeth as she sachets away, leaving me fuming. Trixie's persistence grates at me, as if I'm the one being inconsiderate by not taking her back. I'm not the one who imploded our relationship in the first place. And for the first time in my life, I am content. I am with Nyla, and I plan on it staying that way.
Chapter 39. Nyla. Jacob returns with the drinks, handing one to Julia and then to me. His touch lingers on my hand, sending a reassuring warmth through me. But the moment is cut short when Hilda steps onto the stage, her presence commanding the room. The chatter dies down, replaced by a heavy sense of dread. Hilda taps the microphone, her voice slicing through the uneasy silence. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention for a moment, Jacob tightens his grip on his glass. "Behave, mother," he says quietly to himself. I nod, taking a sip of my drink to steady my nerves. Hilda's gaze sweeps across the room, landing on us briefly before she continues. Hilda's voice fills the room, each word precise and loaded. "First, I want to thank everyone for attending this evening. The cocktails at the Met are always a highlight, but tonight is about more than just good drinks and company." Jacob's grip tightens on my hand. I glance up at him, seeing the storm brewing in his eyes. He senses something's coming and it isn't good. "This charity event is crucial for Stone Industries and the Stone Hospital Group," Hilda continues. "Your generosity helps us provide exceptional care and innovative treatments." The crowd nods in agreement, but there's an undercurrent of anticipation. "However," she says, pausing dramatically, "the board is considering new leadership for the hospital group. Next year may bring significant changes." The room erupts into murmurs. People exchange worried glances, their excitement turning into anxiety. Jacob is furious, his voice a low growl. "She's playing dirty." I squeeze his hand. "What is she talking about? Are they replacing you?" He straightens, eyes blazing with determination. "No, I'll be right back," he assures, kissing my cheek sweetly. Jacob walks to the stage where Hilda stands, every step radiating authority. The room falls silent, all eyes on him. He takes the microphone from Hilda, his gaze locking with hers for a moment. She gives him a tight-lipped smile, and I can almost see the gears turning in her head. "Ladies and gentlemen," Jacob begins, his voice steady and commanding. "Again, thank you for being here tonight and for your unwavering support of Stone Hospital Group." The crowd's murmurs die down as they lean in to listen. Even Hilda looks intrigued, as if she might have underestimated him. "I want to address the elephant in the room," Jacob continues. "My commitment to this hospital is unwavering. I've spent my life preparing to lead this organization into the future, ensuring that we provide the best care possible." He pauses, scanning the room. His eyes meet mine briefly, and I feel a surge of pride. Stone Hospital Group is more than just a name. It's a legacy of innovation and compassion, he says. And I am fully committed to being a stabilizing force as we navigate the challenges of the 21st century and beyond. The audience erupts into applause. Jacob raises a hand to quiet them, his gaze now fixed on Hilda. "I understand there are concerns about my personal life affecting my professional responsibilities," he says, his tone growing firmer. "Let me be clear. My dedication to this hospital is absolute. Any personal decisions I make will only serve to strengthen our mission." Hilda's smile falters slightly. She must realize that her plan has backfired. Jacob isn't distancing himself from me. He's solidifying his position. Jacob's eyes meet mine, and I can see the determination blazing within them. He turns back to the crowd, his grip on the microphone firm. "Growing up, my father always emphasized the importance of stability," Jacob begins. "He told me that to truly lead, I needed to settle down and get married. Stability isn't just a personal virtue, it's a public commitment." I freeze, heart pounding in my chest. What is he doing? Jacob's gaze sweeps over the audience, landing back on me. "And so tonight, I want to formally introduce you all to my fiance, Nyla Thomas." A collective gasp ripples through the room. Murmurs and whispers follow, the crowd buzzing with speculation. I feel dozens of eyes on me, their shock palpable. Julia's voice cuts through the noise as she leans in close. "You've got this," she whispers, giving me a supportive squeeze. Drawing a deep breath, I stand tall and walk toward Jacob. Each step feels like it takes an eternity. The spotlight follows me, making me hyper-aware of every detail. The rustle of my dress, the soft click of my heels on the polished floor. Jacob reaches out his hand, his eyes never leaving mine. As I place my hand in his, he pulls me close and wraps an arm around my waist. Jacob's grip on my waist tightens as he pulls me closer, his voice steady and clear. I want everyone to know that our love is genuine. I am committed to supporting her, her family, and this hospital. The crowd's reaction is a mix of astonishment and skepticism. Murmurs ripple through the room, some guests exchanging doubtful glances, while others look genuinely touched. I remain silent, standing beside Jacob, feeling the weight of every stare but refusing to let it affect me. If any questions still linger in regards to my commitment of running this hospital, please feel free to visit my office anytime. As for now, I plan to enjoy the rest of the night with my beautiful fiance. Thank you. As we leave the stage, I can hear snippets of whispered conversations. Isn't she one of the nurses? I heard she's got a sick grandfather. She looks amazing tonight, though. Ignoring the whispers, I focus on Jacob. His hand remains firmly on my back, guiding me through the sea of curious eyes. Once we're off the stage and away from the immediate spotlight, he leans down and whispers in my ear, "I didn't mean to put you on the spot." I shake my head and shrug. It's okay. She needed to be corrected. He gazes at me for a moment before suddenly swooping down and pressing a kiss to my lips. "Thank you," he murmurs. I chuckle, a blush reaching my cheeks. "For the kiss?" He smiles back, though his gaze is still deep and intense. "For supporting me." "Jacob, Hilda swoops in like a hawk, shattering the moment. Her eyes are sharp, and her lips are pressed into a thin line. "Jacob," she starts, voice low but unmistakably disapproving. That announcement was reckless. Jacob's grip on my waist tightens. "Reckless? How so?" "It complicates Nyla's position and endangers her reputation," she hisses. "You've thrust her into the spotlight without considering the consequences." I can't help it. I step forward. "Excuse me, Mrs. Stone, but I'm standing right here." Hilda's gaze shifts to me, and for a moment I see a flicker of something, perhaps surprise, or maybe just irritation. "Nyla," she says, her tone almost condescending, "you must understand how this looks." "I understand perfectly well," I retort. "It looks like a man fell in love with a woman and isn't ashamed of her because of her social status or skin color." Hilda's eyes narrow. "I don't like what you're insinuating, young lady. You're naive if you think this won't affect you negatively." "Naive?" I scoff. "I've been through enough to know that people will always talk. They'll always judge. But their opinions don't define me the way they define you." "Listen here, you insolent little—" Jacob cuts in, his voice a low growl. "Enough. You will stop disrespecting my fiancé. Attack me all you want, but Nyla is where I draw the line." "A mistake on your part. She'll never be enough for you." I need air, now. The tension in the room feels like it's squeezing the life out of me. "You mean she'll never be enough for you?" He snaps back, fuming in a way I've never seen him before. "You've done a lot of questionable things, but this really takes the cake." "I'm trying to save you from making the worst decision you possibly could." "Save me? That's rich." He laughs, the hollow sound carving into my chest. "You're trying to unseat me. I'm trying to protect you from her." Hilda spins toward me, sneering with a level of disgust that makes me feel incredibly small and worthless. "You little gold-digging brat, this is your fault." Jacob steps between us, pulling her focus back off of me. I feel like I'm going to pass out. "Excuse me," I say, my voice tight. Trying to get to the opening of the balcony is like treading water. My path is marred with pretentious businessmen and their nipped and tucked wives, As my anxiety gets the better of me, I lose all sense of pleasantries and go barreling through the crowd like a linebacker. I end up bumping into an older gentleman, causing him to spill his drink. "Watch where you're going," he spits while eyeing me up and down. Then I sit the flit of recognition as he realizes who he just spoke to. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry," I thought. I don't bother giving him the time of day. The balcony beckons. I need an escape from all this right now. The cold night air hits me like a splash of water, clearing my head but doing nothing for the knot in my stomach. I lean on the railing, gripping it so hard my knuckles turn white. I don't know how much longer I can play this part without jeopardizing myself, my morals. I've never felt more out of place than I do right now. I look behind me, making sure none of the vipers inside is coming to throw me off the balcony. Good luck. They'll be lucky if I don't jump off first.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
I can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Tyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 40. Jacob. I push through the crowd, my heart racing. My mother just blew this thing out of the water. "Nyla," I call out, scanning the sea of faces for her. The ballroom is buzzing with whispers and shocked exclamations after the scene with my mother. "Jacob!" Julia grabs my arm. "What the hell just happened?" "Not now. I need to find Nyla." "She ran towards the balcony," Julia says, pointing. "Go. I'll deal with Mom." "Thanks, Jules." As I make my way to the balcony, I'm stopped by various guests, all clamoring for explanations. "Mr. Stone, is it true your mother's trying to oust you?" "Jacob, darling, surely you're not serious about marrying that nurse." "Stone, what's this going to do to the company's stock?" I brush them off as politely as I can. "Excuse me, I need to find my fiance." Finally, I reach the balcony doors. I can hear a commotion outside. My stomach drops as I push through. I'm halfway to the balcony when a firm hand grips my shoulder. "Jacob, a word." Turning, I find Jonathan Cole, one of our senior board members, his face a mask of concern. Damn it. Not now. "Jonathan, I'm in the middle of something," I say, trying to keep the edge out of my voice. He leans in, his cologne overpowering. "This can't wait. Your mother's little stunt has set things in motion." I glance towards the balcony, torn between my duty to the company and my need to find Nyla. "Make it quick." Jonathan's eyes dart around the room before he speaks. "As it stands, should Hilda bring a motion to remove you from the board, she'll succeed." My stomach twists. "You can't be serious." "I wish I wasn't," he says, shaking his head. "Look, Jacob, I've always supported you, but this engagement, it's causing more trouble than it's worth. You were already on some thin ice with all the bad press, but now you just look reckless." I clench my fists, anger bubbling up. "Nyla is not trouble, Jonathan. She's my fiance. A nurse, Jacob. A nobody." He sighs, pinching the bridge of his nose. "My advice? Don't go through with this marriage. It's not too late to back out. Back out! I bark a laugh. You want me to leave the woman I love because it might upset a few stuffy board members? Jonathan's eyes widen. Love. Jacob, be reasonable. Think of the company, your legacy. My legacy? I cut him off, my voice rising. My legacy will be running this hospital my way, with the woman I choose by my side. If the board can't handle that, maybe it's time for some new blood. I turn on my heel, leaving Jonathan sputtering behind me. My heart pounds as I push through the balcony doors. How it has come to this. I made every attempt to pacify the board. They wanted stability in their CEO. I went ahead and found someone. A nurse. I told everyone we would be getting married. But it didn't seem to matter to them. They wanted to fire me when I was out dating Playboy bunnies and showing up on page 6. Now finding a salt of the earth nurse, and they think it's reckless. The worst part? My relationship with Nyla grows more and more real with every passing day. How much more perfect can it play out that we have a true relationship, despite it being built from a lie? And yet the board continues to be on my ass, almost as if it's personal now. Like they expected me to fail, and now that I've proved them wrong, they're scurrying to find another stipulation to deem me unworthy. I followed the rules. I've made my choice. To hell with my parents' thoughts. To hell with the board's recommendations. I chose her. Now I just need to find her and make sure she knows it.
Chapter 41. Nyla. I stand on the balcony, the cool night air a welcome relief from the stifling atmosphere inside. My mind is still reeling from the confrontation with Jacob's mother. Her words echo in my head. You little gold-digging brat. Rough night? A deep voice asks, startling me. I turn to see Marcus Swan, Trix's stepfather, and from my understanding, a board member, standing there with a sympathetic smile. Mr. Swan, I say, hastily wiping my tears. I didn't realize anyone else was out here. He waves off my formality. Please call me Marcus. Mind if I join you? I nod, not trusting my voice. He moves to stand beside me at the railing, looking out over the manicured gardens. You know, he begins conversationally, I've known the Stones for years. They can be challenging, to say the least. I let out a watery laugh. That's one way to put it. He turns to me, his expression serious. Nyla, may I offer you some advice? Why not? I say with a sigh. Not like I've been able to stop anyone from putting in their 2 cents. Marcus leans in, lowering his voice. These people, they're sharks. To survive in their world, you've got to be prepared to fight fire with fire. What do you mean? I mean, he continues, don't let them see you sweat. Stand your ground. You're stronger than you think. I shift my gaze from his warm expression, looking out into the distance. Am I? Jacob says the same thing, but I don't feel like it's true. You know, he begins, I've seen the way Jacob looks at you. It's clear he cares for you deeply. But his mother, I trail off, the pain of her words still fresh. Ah, yes, Hilda Stone, Marcus says, a hint of disdain in his voice. She's a force to be reckoned with, no doubt, but she's not invincible. You seem to be quite fond of her. I noticed you talking at the charity event at the hospital not too long ago. He chuckles. Oh, I do. We go way back, in fact. He hesitates, glancing around as if to make sure we're alone. There's something you should know, Nyla. Something about your family and the Stones. I swear my stomach leaps to my throat, the expensive champagne threatening to spew all over Marcus's expensive shoes. What? What is it? Marcus opens his mouth to continue, but suddenly his face contorts in pain. He clutches his chest. Marcus, I say, panic rising in my throat. Are you okay? He doesn't respond. Instead, he crumples to the ground, his eyes rolling back in his head. Oh my God, I scream, dropping to my knees beside him. Somebody help! We need a doctor. This can't be happening. This isn't happening. My training kicks in, and I start CPR immediately. Come on, Marcus, I mutter as I perform chest compressions. Don't do this. Stay with me. People start rushing onto the balcony. I hear gasps and shocked exclamations. What happened? Someone asks. Is that Marcus Swan? Someone call an ambulance. I tune out the voices, focusing solely on Marcus. Breathe, damn it, I urge him. You can't die. I don't know how long I keep at it before I hear Jacob's voice. Nyla, what's going on? I look up, seeing his worried face. Jacob, you need to call an ambulance. Mr. Swan had a heart attack, and if he doesn't get help right now, he'll die.
Hey fam, girl, you can tell Nyla really loves her granddaddy, because she's putting up with all this abuse from these horrible stones and their stinking attitudes. Who do they think they are? And what was Marcus about to tell Nyla? I can't believe after everything she gets this close and gets thwarted. It's something so central to all this that she needs to find out. And you won't believe what she does do when she finally finds out. That's what's next on the next episode of Say Less. I love you. New episodes air Tuesdays and Thursdays, and thanks for watching.